Hey guys, my name is TommyBryson. If you don't know me, you're gonna know me. Now, today I really want to talk to you guys about something that every entrepreneur out there, every business person, every career person, it doesn't matter in what field you are, but you always face this doubt in your head, right? And that doubt is the doubt of, I don't know if this is worth it anymore. I don't know if I want to be this person. I don't know if my work is like meaningful. I don't know anything. And you have this doubt in your head, and then that leads to depression. Well, not really depression, but you're just being like sad about it and just like doubtful about it. And I really want to talk about this because I don't see anyone on YouTube talking about it. And everyone that I see talking about it, they just say, you know what, just work hard, get through it, blah, blah, blah. But they don't really give you a concrete reason to why you're feeling that way. And I'm here today to debunk that and actually teach you guys how to get through it. And down in the description below, I made a list of questions, only 3 questions that you guys can go through, answer them, and then once you answer these questions, you should have a better idea if it's time for you to quit or if it's time for you to try something different. And that's the main idea of this video, right? Is whether it's time for you to quit what you're doing or it's time for you to keep pushing even further and harder. And when is the right time to actually quit? When is the right time to give up, in a sense, right? Because a lot of us don't know, and anytime we come to anyone with the ideas or telling them like, hey, this isn't working out, what do I do? They just tell you, maybe just quit, maybe just stop, and then you in the back of your head saying like, well, if I quit, then I'm gonna regret it, then I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna teach you guys exactly how to avoid that. Now, the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about is what is it that you want long term, and when I say long term, I mean long term, like when you're like in your 50s or 60s. What is it that you wish to accomplish? What is it that you wish to say like, I did this, I did that? In what state do you want to be? You know what I mean? So whenever I think about, and this is my entire perspective on it, right? This is my entire story. Whenever I think about going to the gym, and by the way, I don't even mention this, but I've been going to the gym for I think like 21, 26 days, like consistently, like every single day, like no excuses. And whenever I think about having that day and I wake up that day and I'm like, I don't want to go there, it's not even worth it, like I worked out yesterday, I can just like say like I work out the next day, I need to let my body rest, like a whole bunch of BS excuses really. And whenever I feel that way, I look at myself and I tell myself, look, this is what you feel right now in this moment, this is what you feel right now in this present moment, and you start associating everything that you feel in this present moment. But then as soon as you do that and you kind of bring yourself down to that level, you say, well, what do I want long term? What do I want to accomplish long term? You know what I mean? And that's why I'm not striving for like a specific physique. I'm not striving for anything specific. All I'm striving is to be a healthy person that's going to live a long life. And if my life ends sooner than that, and there's so much pessimistic people out there to say, Tommy, it doesn't matter if you work out. When it's time for you to go, it's time for you to go. And people like that, you really want to remove them from your life, because those are the same type of people that keep doing the same negative things for the rest of their life, and they put you in that same position, and then they justify the reason that they're there by saying, well, when I go, and it doesn't matter then, right? And you really want to stay away from those people, because those are people that come into the world with nothing and leave the world with giving nothing or accomplishing anything, and they just leave the same way they came with nothing. I don't want to be associated with people like that. So whenever I feel that way, I tell myself long term, what I want is a good body. Long term, what I want is great health. And long term, this is going to help me achieve this. And that's what I think about. That's what my main focus is. But that's also a misconception, right? Because I can use that same argument to justify why I'm doing something positive, but I can also use that same argument to justify something that is completely negative. And what I mean by that is, say for example, I'm in a terrible friendship, relationship, job, career, anything like that, right? And I tell myself, well, I don't want to quit my job. I don't want to end my relationships. I don't want to do anything like that, because what if I end my relationship and then I have regrets about it? And what if I'm looked at as a quitter? What if I'm looked at as someone that's not willing to do what it takes? And what if I have this career, I lose this job, then I lose a certainty, and then it's just like awful, right? So I'm going to use a little example that happened to me when I was in college, right? When I was in college, I really wanted to just like make money, spend money. That was my whole focus until I read the book. If you guys know, if you guys been watching for a long time, I read the book, The Millionaire Mind. And if you haven't been watching for a long time, make sure you subscribe and like and comment down below after I'm done with the video, by the way. But the main thing was I wanted to make money and I wanted to do it fast, right? So when I read The Millionaire Mind, that was the opening chapter to everything that I wanted, right? It was like, wow, if I think like this, maybe I can achieve this, I can achieve that. And then after that, I started looking for ways of making a lot of money, right? Which was like stocks, which was like compounded interest, which was savings account, which was starting up online businesses, which was a whole bunch of things, right? Even I even started doing YouTube. And the main thing was, well, I used to ask myself when I started doing stocks, I said, well, Tommy, is this what you want to do? You know what I mean? Like picking stocks, having to do research, having to do calculations. And I knew exactly how to pick stocks, you know, because it's not hard, it's simple. You just have to get the intrinsic value. You have to figure out things. You have to look at the management and all those things and just like think of long term. And that's great. But I asked myself, is this what I want to do? Is this what I want to do for the rest of my life? Like picking stocks. And I said, no, it isn't. And I don't see myself being in a position where that would make me happy. So I said, what is it you really want out of this? And I said to myself, what I really want is to be able to accumulate money in a safe way, and get paid for doing that, which is getting paid by dividends, and eventually build up so much wealth that those dividends can pay me to live fully and have whatever type of life I basically want, right? And as soon as I realized that, I said, well, I don't need to pick stocks. I can do index funds because that's going to help me achieve what I want to achieve without having to get myself involved so much, right? So that's why I use the app Acorn. If you don't know what Acorn is, I made a whole video about that. It's a financial app that lets you invest in the stock market. And that's what I use basically, you know, because I invest my money in a monthly basis. Market down, market up, it doesn't matter to me because I know long term it's all going to be the same and I'm still going to achieve the same goal that I wanted to achieve. Now, there's a 3-part story, right? With YouTube, I started YouTube, I think when I wasn't even like, it was college. I started YouTube when I was in college. I was like 3 years ago. And my first video was like a vlog. And it was because Casey was vlogging. And all these people on YouTube were vlogging. And I said, I want to be a vlogger. I want to do this. I want to do that. And at one point, I was 100 vlogs in, 112 vlogs in. And I said, daily, by the way. This is daily content. Daily every single day. And I said, I don't want to do this, you know? I don't want to do this. And my views were like, I think 100, some videos were getting 2,000, some videos were getting 4,000 or 5,000, and I was doing great, you know? So I was getting reception from what I was doing because eventually enough, you get consistent with something, either if you like it or you don't, but you're consistent and you're putting your all into it, the world, the market is going to show a positive response to you. But I wasn't happy with what I was doing, and I didn't want to do it anymore. And whenever I would go to a friend and I would tell them, hey, I don't want to do this, they would tell me, no, bro, you're just trying to quit because this and that, and you just don't get it. Just do it like this, do it like that, and you're going to get there. Doesn't matter, just work hard, blah, blah, blah. And I kept doing it, you know, and then I reached a point in my life where I said, what do you want from this? What do you want from YouTube? And what do you want from all of this? You know, and I said to myself, well, what I want from YouTube is to create content that I love, to give value, and to eventually like make some money from it, right? Because it's important, and make money from it so I can support my family, so I can do whatever I want, you know, because it is a business. And as soon as I figured that out, I said to myself, well, how am I spending 9 hours editing a video, 3 hours filming a video, and every time I make a video, there's literally no value to it because it's just like, you know, fancy editing. It's just like me going over here, me saying this joke, me saying that. Every now and then I would squeeze a little bit of value, but I can't talk so much because the person might just leave the video. And how am I doing this? How am I taking up so much time on my day, 12 hours, and I'm taking away time from my business that's making me a ton of money, and I'm doing it for this? And I said to myself, I don't want to do this. And everything became clear right then because I said long term it's not what I want to do. Long term I want to do something that gives me freedom, that gives me time, and 12 hours a day is not freedom to me. You know what I mean? So I said, well, what can you do? A year later, I think, maybe 6 months later, I started doing these type of videos after I experiment with a whole bunch of other videos, and it led me to here, making financial videos, because every time I would talk to someone about finance, I wish I would have like a way to just like, you know, make a video about it so they can go and they can watch it and they can see it, and I can like spread this message around because no one really knows this information. Like, I think it's normal information, but I know that deep down that a lot of people are stuck in the place that they're stuck in because they don't have the information. And I know also that if I never received that book from my professor, I would never be in the place that I am today. And you might say like, oh no, Tom, if you didn't get it then, you would have got another time. Like, I don't know, but you never know who's watching your video, and you never know if that person might be the next Bill Gates, the next whatever, blah blah blah. But I just want to be part of the cause, and that's why I did it. And I can literally film a video in like 2 hours, and like edit and upload and then plan and execute in 2 hours, and I still have like 22 hours. Go to the gym, go see my girlfriend, go work on my real business, and just like do whatever I want to do, all while doing what I want to do long term, which is this. You know what I mean? And that's what I strive for. That's what I do. Now, the second question that I wanted to ask you guys is down in the description below. So you got to answer those questions. You can actually follow me, and you can actually see what's going on with your life, right? And the second question is, where does this doubt come from? And a lot of times you might think that something is natural, something is normal, but it really isn't, and it comes from your childhood, and it comes from experiences that you had before. And I remember this very specific time in my life. I had this teacher, and I remember her name, but I won't even say her name here. I had this teacher, and she told me, Tommy, write this letter and give it to me, right? And the letter was all about like, what do you want to do when you grow up? You know what I mean? And I said, I want to do films. I want to make movies. I want to do this. I want to do that, right? And I want to make scary movies. And she said, when she sent me, when I gave her my paper and she graded it and everything like that, she brought it back to me and she said, this is unrealistic, and I don't understand how you could want to make scary movies. It's just like awful. And I was just like shattered. I was broken. I was embarrassed, and I was like, what the hell? You know what I mean? And I used to make little videos and little clips with my friend, a friend of mine that was back then, and I stopped doing that too, because that little moment there, it kind of like forced me into this little box, and I said, wow, I don't think I want to do this. I'm just gonna do what she told me to do, which is just do good in school, which is it's whatever, right? And when I was 18, I finally got the courage to stop doing that. And I tell you that story, that very long story, to tell you that you might be in doubt, not just because maybe what you're doing is hard, but because of them back then. So you got to really think about what makes you doubt yourself. What are the biases that you have for yourself? Are you afraid of being embarrassed? If you're afraid of failure, if you're afraid of any of those things, then you're afraid of learning, because that's all it really is. If you fail, just try again. Now you know how not to fail in that way, and just keep trying and keep trying. There's a quote out there by Benjamin Franklin, right? I think is it Benjamin Franklin? I'm not sure if it's Benjamin Franklin. I'm pretty sure that it's not Benjamin Franklin, but I think it's Erickson, right? What is it called? Erickson? Yeah, Erickson. The guy that invented the light bulb, right? I'm sorry. Right? The guy that invented the light bulb, he says he tried it 10,000 times, and when people told him to quit, he said, I'm not quitting. When he told himself he wanted to quit, he said, no, I'm not quitting. I just found 10,000 ways how this is not going to work. So now I'm closer to my goal. And that's all it really is. And that's what I want you guys to understand. But when something's negative, like I shared before, that you see that there's no future with it, that it's not what you want for yourself, whether it's a negative relationship, a negative job, or anything like that, then you really got to assume this place and say, is this what I want long term? Is this what I want long term? And if it's not, then walk away from it. But if you want something long term and you're finding it really hard to get there step by step, and you know that this is what's needed to get there, then just keep pushing and just keep looking at long term, and time will be your friend, and then time will show you that you're right. Now, the third thing I want to talk about is how can you avoid staying in a situation that you should clearly quit early, and how can you stay the course when you feel like quitting on something that's long term that you're going to achieve, right? Now, the first thing I want to talk about is something that you want to quit, right? For example, if my laptop isn't working, right, and I'm trying to figure it out, blah, 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 no, just turn it off and turn it back on. It's not worth the time. If you're in a relationship and that person is negative and constantly doing things, don't just quit. Don't just quit. Try something out, right? Try some experiments and say, well, how does that person react to this? What if I tell her to do this? What if I tell her to do that? What if I try to level her up? If you try all those things and if it still doesn't work, cut it out, because you don't want to be stuck taking care of a person until like you're 60 or 80, because it's not worth it. If you're in a bad friendship and that person, that friend, you tell them, hey, I don't want to do that anymore. It's not where I want to be. That's not what I want to do. It's going to get me in danger. It's going to make me in this. And they keep pushing that onto you. Don't quit yet. Try to level them up again. Tell them, hey, I read this book. I did this. I want to help you with this business, blah, blah, blah. If they still don't listen, then cut it out. End it right there. Now, as for long term, if, say, for example, you want to invest in stocks, right, because it's for your retirement or anything like that, you just want to live off the dividends sometime very soon, then you want to tell yourself, when the stock market is down, you want to tell yourself, it's a perfect time to invest even more money because the market is on a discount. And Warren Buffett says this too, right? And it's very hard to just say that, right? So whenever I say, really make sure that you go and do your research so you can have backup to it, right? Because when I see the stock market going down, I instantly think about market corrections, I think about the depression, I think about all those things, right? But I also think about how many people made their wealth during that time. Because during that time, while everybody was scared and fearful, the real investors were investing a ton of money because they knew the market was on sale. Now, everyone knows out there that's a real investor, and there's not much of them, they know that the market will average out eventually if you're just doing index funds, right? And if you try to like track the market and you get, I remember I read this book and the guy said, you know, basically when the market went like down and it had like this biggest ups, if you had caught it then, like I think it was like 4 or 5 times, and you just stayed the track normally, at the end of the day, those people had like the same returns because it was basically the same thing. Now, guys, I know this was a long video, right? But I really wanted to make it very clear to you that it's okay for you to have doubts. It's okay for you to want to quit something, or maybe even quit something while you're ahead, because sometimes it's hard to cut out something, and sometimes it's hard to understand that maybe that's the best thing for you, and sometimes it's very hard to keep continuing doing something that's going to benefit you long term because you just keep looking at the present time and saying to myself and saying to yourself, you see, I put this on myself too, and saying to yourself that, oh, I don't want to do it, it's not worth it anymore, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And it's just stay the course with long term, cut things out that are not long term. Guys, my name is TommyBryson. Subscribe to the channel, like and comment. It really helps out the channel. Every time you guys click that like button, it helps out like crazy. So keep liking and comment down below answering those questions. So just literally just like copy and paste the description and just like paste it down there and then just answer those questions. Maybe on the comments so some other people can see it, or maybe personally so you can actually do it for yourself and figure out your true reasons. I'd rather you do it personally because you can actually express yourself to the real version, because there's a lot of people that don't want to put their business online. So I completely understand. But I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
You've got to start at the bottom if you're ever gonna reach the top. You've gotta watch your